All right, we are live and excited to be here with each and every one of you today. Todd Cahill here, the CEO of Inside Out Institute. I'm with my great friend and co-founder of the Institute, Emmanuel Zavaios, and we're here and we're coming live to you. He's in Utah and I'm in the Illinois area, and we're just so excited to talk about the subject of passion today. But if you're new to this broadcast and if you don't know a little bit about myself, I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been working from home for over 20 years. Very proud of that. I hate having a job, so I got rid of that in 2003, 2004, but really has led me to a point where I'm in this position now to be a CEO. It's very humbling to do that, and also being the author of the book You Versus You. But we really want to make a significant difference in many people's lives across the world. And because of COVID in 2020, we have set out, my brother here and friend, Emmanuel, we have kind of come together and really created something pretty awesome. And we deal with a lot of clients every single day that, want help either, whether it's healing themselves emotionally, which that's his forte, or my forte is, the you versus you side of like conscious leadership, etc. And we hit a lot of roadblocks with people when it comes to passion. What should I go after? I'm in my 40s, or I'm in my 30s, or I'm in my 50s. How can I have more passion, or where do I find my passion? What's the difference between X, Y, Z? So we actually have some questions today. We're going to kind of go back and forth. And Emmanuel, I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks so much again for being on. But talk to me a little bit about passion and what, in your perspective, obviously being one of the top body code practitioners in the world, what does following your passion really mean?
So first of all, glad to be here. Glad everyone's, whoever's tuning in, wherever you're from, we're making it happen. COVID, it doesn't matter. So yeah, basically for me, passion is, I once heard from an author, it means to it's basically something to do with sacredness, it's almost like, and I really feel like it's almost like has to do with this sacred suffering, and I really feel like the question we want to ask ourselves is, what are you willing to suffer for? So a lot of people think passion is just this exciting joy. Every day is a good day. The sun always comes up. The sun never goes down. And that's just really not what passion's all about. Passion is really just, it's really something in your heart that you find if you don't have a heart wall, which maybe we can talk about later. But also it's just kind of like, what if everyone were to cut off your paycheck today? Would you still do what you're doing? If the answer is no, then you're probably not in your passion.
Absolutely. Well, how did you know that you were in your passion? And we kind of dissect that in both ways, both perspectives. But I would say right now, because I definitely can answer that myself. But like for you, like right now, being October 2020 as we record this, going from 80, 120 clients a week, and doing that for the past 6 years, but now being our chief healing officer, in the midst of this, I mean, you got married this year, you have a baby on the way. All this stuff happened, the world news and obviously what's happening in America. How do you know now that you're actually in your passion?
So I really believe that, that in the good book, it talks about as a man thinketh, but also in your heart, as a heart thinketh. And we obviously know that hearts don't think. We thought that. But now we're looking at like the heart is the second brain. And I've had my heart wall cleared long time ago, which is basically removing the trauma from your heart. That was done back in 2015. But now we're in 2020, and I have to still, from time to time, because there's certain trauma that happens in my life, I can't stop that from happening. I have to keep removing these walls and just kind of check on myself from time to time, make sure I don't have that. But it's almost like the heart will confirm with me by how I feel when I'm doing something. So if I'm like really in the moment, I'm very present, and like time kind of like doesn't exist anymore, I know my heart is singing and is excited about what I'm doing. If I feel like it's starting to, I'm feeling a lot of dread, and like I can't wait to not do it anymore, and I'm just like waiting for the time to like kind of pass.
Yeah.
Then I'm not in my element, and I'm not listening to my heart. I know, for example, here's a crazy thing. I know that you had a very successful business before, multiple businesses before, and you obviously had to. There's a difference between like having passion about what you do or having passion because it's your mission. Tell me about like how you kind of started just recently, probably differentiated those two. I'm just kind of curious how that happened for you.
Well, I think for you got a plane. I think I think for me, it's like, I think being an entrepreneur for so long, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. Like we always are looking like, okay, what's the investment? I got to invest money. I got to invest my time. I got to invest, time that I need to grow. And of course, every entrepreneur is, oh, what's my ROI? What's my return on investment? Which is a totally fine question to ask yourself and totally logical and practical. But I come from, what's the return on mission? My ROM. So being an entrepreneur for many, many years, getting great returns, making great money in the millions of dollars, being able to live in nice homes, travel the world, speak to a lot of different people, and still love that life. What I was missing was that mission. When you're selling products, or when you're selling something that maybe that people can buy on Amazon, to me, it was just like, okay, let me focus on, okay, people are growing though, and that's great. We're helping people make money. But what I love right now, and I'm so passionate, no matter, and this is so powerful, because when you're just in it for a return on your investment, when you go through the personal hardships that we all go through, whether you're the strongest guy on the block or the strongest woman on the block, both emotionally, physically, whatever, you're still going to get knocked down. That is a guarantee. A lot of people want guarantees. Well, you are going to have a Rocky Balboa moment, and you're either going to get up when you're knocked down, or you're going to stay down. So if you just have a passion to make money, you probably will get knocked down and not want to get back up. It's not going to be this, I got to get up, and that's what's so inspirational about Rocky Balboa movies, and, and those fighting movies or whatever, even just real life, like MMA and boxing in real life is, man, it's like, it's the heart of a champion. So I got a return on my mission this year because of COVID, because of everything I've been through last year of not having that clarity. And, and I don't want to just be another coach, and I don't want to be another author. I wanted to do something exceptional. And what's cool about that is, once you all make a decision from your passion to get a return on your mission, guess who comes? People like Emmanuel. So, attraction, right? We're able to attract really amazing people to me. And I've known Emmanuel for years, but to get to partner up with you, Emmanuel, has been absolutely extraordinary. And of course, all the people that we get to serve on a day-to-day basis now, and then seeing where we're going in the future. I've gotten knocked down a lot of times this year, but if I was just in it for making money, I would have probably stayed down.
No, that makes sense. Maybe you can pretend like I was being personally mentored by you in one of your businesses, and you said, "What's the reason for you doing What's the reason for you doing this business?" And if I answer to you for extra money, what would you tell me? Because I know you would slap me around the corner, and I'd fly to the next gutter. So how would you, just tell me what you would say if I said that?
I would slap you with my eyes, but I wouldn't literally do it because I don't want to get arrested. I'd be like, what? Say what? Making money is the worst goal that you can possibly have. If the people that want to make money never make money. It's just one of those law of attraction things where money is a byproduct of the value that you add to other people. And if you're not adding value to other people, nobody wants to pay you for your services. So, and that's another thing about jobs. People will take a salary because it's a good salary, but they hate the job. So you're going to basically say, I'm going to sit here for 40 years because I have a good pension and I want to retire at 65. That's right. A sad life, and it's a very mediocre life. So I would say, don't do anything for money. You look at all the billionaires. You look at Elon Musk. We both are huge fans of Elon Musk. He wasn't in it for the money. I mean, if you just follow his story, I mean, he loves what he does. He's so good at everything he touches, really. And he's had a lot of failures, but that's great. So you can't be in it for the money knowing that you're going to have the failure, because we all are going to fail. So you easily quit. And that was another question I had for you. People that give up, I wrote this down. With that said, are they giving up on their passion, or were they never a part of their mission in the first place?
Yeah, see, so when I work with clients, I'm always, I go through the heart wall symptoms. So you have this trauma around your heart, and there's certain symptoms you get. And so I would ask them, I said, some of them would say, I'm already on my mission, and I say, great, but you know what? It's only confirmed with the mind, but not with the heart. Wouldn't you want to feel like more excitement, joy, and elation in your journey? Yes, I would. See, and I've never heard one client say, no, I'm good. They're always like, yeah, I would love to feel more happiness, joy, and elation. Because when you have a heart wall, you're desensitized. So you're only, the reciprocation of your mind going through the process of your work or business, that only goes so far. But if you don't feel anything in the heart, you're going to get burned out. You're going to get burned out, even if it's your passion. That's the crazy part. So I think, like, in order to lock yourself so you don't kind of sabotage yourself, if you have the heart and mind working together and they confirm each other that this is what you're supposed to be doing, the IQ rate goes a lot lower, which is the I quit rate goes a lot lower, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I love that. And you guys were adding so much value, and Emmanuel is just hitting it on the nose here. So with that said, let me follow up with this, because obviously you are a healer, and some people might say, what does that mean? He's a healer. Well, you have this amazing gift, and you've been healing people for 6 years through the modality of the body code and the emotion code. And I wrote this in my notes, is how does healing make you more proficient in following your passion? So what that means for the people that are watching is what happens when we start choosing to heal. Now, I'll give you 2 examples of Jane. Here's Jane, and she can go right or she can go left. Now, Jane is filled with ego and she's filled with contempt because Bob really did all this to Jane. Does that make sense? Bob was a jerk. Bob was blah, 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 blah. And now Jane is closed off because she just thinks all men suck. So she doesn't want healing. She just blames it all on men, and she goes on to her next failed relationship. But then there's also the Jane that says, I'm going to take a left. No matter what Bob did to me or Sally did to me, I'm going to choose to focus on myself. So what happens when we choose to heal and also identify? So how does that really work? Even when like someone comes to you for the first time and they're just like, I want to give up on life. I mean, it could be very even depressing, where you can kind of come in there and start showing them how to heal step by step, where they can regain their passion back and even have a reframe of their dreams in the future.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think the main thing, there's another planet here. So I live on the NASA site, so I really don't. Okay, but basically what's interesting is that with people, there's a really famous quote that I really like from T. Harv Eker. If you haven't read that book, Millionaire Mind, it's probably second best to You versus You. I don't know if anyone's heard of that book. You should know about that book. Yeah. But T. Harv Eker wrote a book called The Millionaire Mind. It talks about poverty files and wealth files. And one of my favorite lines that I tell people all the time is that you can't be right and rich at the same time. You know, you can't be right or rich. And what that means is that a lot of people have this inclination, there's kind of a human error where like we'd rather be right about everything and then but we're kind of still poor in that area, you know? So there's so many people that, like, for example, if you go to like a teacher in college talking about finances, they are so right about finances, but they have not a penny to their name. So it's almost like, so if your philosophies work, why isn't your life working? You know? And so I have to let people know, it's like if you keep doing what you're doing, 5 years from now, you'll be exactly the same. So what you're focusing too much on, like, what things do I need in the outer universe so that things can change, instead of what's in the inner universe that needs to change the outside. So it's almost like in the inside, there's these like dirty lens, like, you know, looking outside. You have to clean those lenses from the inside, then you can see clearly what's happening in the outside.
Wow, I love that. Well, let's talk about myths, you know, because a lot of times a lot of people have a lot of myths to passion, healing, etc. So I wrote down 2 myths. One is passion has to be money influenced. And the other myth is passion always has to feel exciting and fun. So, and I get this a lot with people, like, you know what, I decided to kind of quit my journey of personal growth because I'm just not having any fun anymore. And I just don't feel it anymore. the universe is not vibing with me on a 24/7 level. And I just always like not laugh at that person. I'm just like, girl, dude, like, you know, we don't live in a perfect universe. Like, you're gonna not vibe all the time. You're gonna be depressed. You have anxiety. We all do, no matter how strong you really are. So what can you say about, let's talk about the first myth. Passion has to be money influence. We hit on that. Let's just hit on it one more time, and then we'll go to the second myth.
Yeah, I think that's really wrong. I learned from Brandon Boyd, who's the singer of Incubus, who became very, very wealthy. It's a great band. I've seen them live 5 times. But anyway, the point is that he says that I never knew I was going to become successful. Even, for example, Kurt Cobain, you know, even though he had a very tragic life in so many ways because of his addictions, the thing that ruined him was his celebrityhood. Like, it really ruined him because he didn't expect that. That's not why he was picking up the guitar. I mean, they barely had enough money to go on tour. They literally had to play music, and they're like, we don't know if we have enough money to continue to tour unless people show up to this event. And then it wasn't until Nevermind came out that all of a sudden he became a millionaire overnight. But it was almost like he was still in a sleeping bag in the back of a van when that happened. Yeah. So here's the point that, like, but if you were to ask Kurt Cobain, are you happy with your life? You'd say, yeah, I play music all the time. It's my passion. So I really feel like passion and money can't be linked. Now, if money is a byproduct of the service you provide to the marketplace, if your passion happens to be tapping into the marketplace, then yes, the money will show up. But if it's like, there's some passions that don't have any money with it. So what I love to kind of use the example of the guy in Australia. There's a movie that came out, or a show called like Healer. And I really believe, and what's really interesting about him is he doesn't take $1 of profit from any of his stuff. He built 2 companies to pay him out so he can do his passion, which is actually healing people. You see?
Okay.
So I have to warn people, like, if you have a passion that you're not adding value to the marketplace, you can do that passion, but have another way of making money so you can actually finance it.
I love that. And you're so right. And we have so many stories that I love the stories there. Passion always feels fun and exciting. So let's both dive on that real quick. So what's your take, and then I'll kind of share my take on that.
I'm gonna throw it back to you, man. I want to know. You've been through the grinder with businesses. I'm just kind of curious. Like, you had to go through some ups and downs, and what's the thing that kind of pushed you through it? Was it a passion, or were you always looking while you were in your business, like, there's got to be something more, but I'm going to do this for now because I'm good at it? Like, I'm curious on your mindset. How did that work for you?
Well, it's been a lot different now because I'm in it now. I'm in exactly where I need to be. There's no like, okay, I'm going to do this so that this is just the vehicle to get me here. But for so long, I was just doing something because it was the vehicle to, let's say, have a book, and speak and coach and stuff like that. But now I'm actually in it. So I can speak, like, once you're in your full passion, here's what's so scary. And I'm going to rock your world. You will get your freaking face torn up.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the past couple of weeks have been some of the worst weeks of my entire life. And it's interesting. We're having so much success. We're having so much people change their life. We're having so many people go through transformation, and call it the enemy, call it the devil, but they're after me, and they're coming for me, and they're knocking on my door. And the enemy does not like, someone fulfilling their destiny. So passion's cool, but like, I'm on a whole different level of like fulfillment of my destiny. What literally I was born to do, and I'm almost 40. Like, it's just, I have to go, and you have to be so strong. Like, and you got to be so focused. And at times it's going to be very difficult, and you're going to question yourself, and you're going to want to quit. But having a great support, knowing why you're doing it, like, over and over and over again. And honestly, I'm doing it. Money's cool. I would say money's the top 5. I'm not going to say money. We don't even focus on money ever. I mean, you need money to live. Money's cool because you can write checks to fix your problems most of the time. But that's not going to keep you in the game when you're getting punched over and over and over again. And that's not just my story. That's everyone's story. And that's what's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And that's why people, like, like I said in my book, You Versus Your Success, there's a bounty to pay for success. Justin Bieber, not now, because he's totally, but when he went crazy, when he went like, well, he was so successful, had all the money in the world, but he was so lost. And he couldn't even like get out of his hotel room without paparazzi everywhere. And, it drained on him. And you can see that. Britney Spears, when he shaved her head as well. But that's the bounty. Like, if you're a celebrity, the bounty is everyone loves you. Maybe half people hate you, and they vocally on Instagram that they hate you. Look at our president, it's so negative all around him, but he still runs the country. So he's in his destiny, whether you like him or not. He's running the United States of America with 50% of this country hates him, So how does he get up and, fulfill, the country's destiny? So you just got to be careful. There's also a bounty to pay for lack of success. So failure, major bounty. So I just decided early on, I'll pay the bounty because I have to pay, but I'll pay it for success, not failure. And, John Maxwell, my mentor, always says you have to pay now to play later, or you're going to have to play. If you choose to play now and dabble in this and dabble in that and not take your life seriously, you might have to pay for the rest of your life. And that's why it's always better to stay on that course of your destiny and your mission with a passionate attitude.
Yeah. And I think just to add to you, I think, because I've been in the direct sales industry before, and so I know that, there's certain aspects, like whenever you're in a job or a business, there's certain aspects you love, and there's certain parts that you just don't like at all.
Right.
You have to kind of wear almost a lot of hats. And I really feel like too, some people, I think a myth is that if you're excited about something that you're doing right now, it doesn't mean it's your passion. I think, just because, for example, in direct sales, I loved public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like recruiting, but I loved public speaking. And then I didn't know that it was preparing me to be a top YouTube viewer of the Motion Code Body Code, and people were watching all my videos, and that I would explain and like dissect certain things. It's like, but it was preparing me to be like, yeah, you like public speaking, you like teaching, actually. And I wonder if you can look back into your past and you're like, what aspects led you to this passion? Because I think if we can give a gold nugget to everybody right now is if they feel like they're not fulfilled in what they're doing right now, to dissect what they're doing right now, that there's probably some aspect of their job or aspect of their business that they like doing, but there's something that has like more joy in it. And it includes this thing that you think is not going to be there, but it's actually there. This is actually preparing you for that. So I'm just kind of curious, like what is it for you that you're like, hey, I actually love doing this, and I'm actually finding it in IOI now that I work at Inside Out Institute.
Yeah. Well, I think if it doesn't challenge you, you need to get the heck out of it. I think, jobs, if it's like so easy, you just have to show up, log, check in, check out, get paid, cool, easy life. But, I always want to choose growth. And there's so many people out there, especially because of COVID, because of the pandemic, they're paralyzed. And, I was talking to a lady today, God bless her, but she was saying, my CPA told me don't spend money. Well, how long do you want to live like that? Yeah. We don't live in a broke country. We don't live in a broke world. I mean, why would a CPA tell someone don't spend any money? Maybe that's just your job. But I told her, like, your CPA doesn't care about you. Your CPA doesn't pay your bills. So you need to be challenged. And what I've only grown where I've been challenged. I don't grow where money's flowing, relationships are phenomenal. I mean, it's okay to have it. We want that. I mean, I'm not saying you have to always live a challenged life. But the person that you are now, if you're not happy with that person, you versus you, right? Yep. Then you're not challenged, or you're not saying yes to the challenge and you're staying comfortable, but there is no money, there is no return on mission in your comfort zone. So I liked my network marketing experience because I was an introvert and I was challenged financially. So I had to do it. I also didn't want to have a job. So I wanted time freedom and location freedom, but it was hard. I had to walk up to strangers in 2005 and say, hi, have you seen this magazine? I was stalking people at Starbucks. Yeah. Honestly, it worked though. After a while, San Diego State, I literally recruited some top leaders that went on to build a huge business in 9 years and made me millions of dollars. So it did work, but it was scary as hell and it was hard. But it made me the person I am today. And just like doing an Ironman, running marathons, lifting weights, like, yeah, you're going to be sore. It's going to be difficult, but man, it's so powerful because you can always look back and say, I did that. Like, you know what? And it's not an ego thing. It's a confidence thing. Having that self-confidence that you can overcome anything is priceless.
Yeah, no, totally. And I really feel like almost like you were ready for the next challenge after your many, many years of success with direct sales, right? Because I remember you were saying something like I'm ready to like write a book. Like I want to start actually coaching people. So I'm guessing your sideways answer was that you like the coaching side of direct sales more than anything else. Is that kind of the truth there?
Yeah, I love the speaking, public speaking in front of 30, 40, 50,000, speaking on conference calls, just really impacting people through my own story. But like me and like you, we both do it daily. Like if I watched you behind closed doors and you watched me behind closed doors, you'd be like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Like they work their butts off. Like they really do what they say they're going to do, as opposed to, I just want the stage, just give me the stage. I don't want to do the work. I just want the stage. I want the accolades. I want to write a book, but I don't really actually want to write a book. I just want like somebody to like write it for me. And it's not even really my life. It's just someone else's life, but that's just not our thing. So the book came after 15, 16 years of blood, sweat, and tears, not the first 5 months of trying something.
You couldn't really write that book unless you had those experiences, period. Right. Yeah. And I think too, like, I think another myth about the passion is that it's all red carpet. I remember Darren Hardy in the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. This really blew my mind that they're like, you want the Oprah Winfrey lifestyle, you do not want her meetings. And I was just like, that's so true. And you know all the air flights she had to take from 2 o'clock in the morning, the red eye, all the meetings. She's like, oh, another interview, oh, another meeting, another meeting, another meeting. It's just like, but they want the red carpet part where she's just waving at people. That's just the outside of it. It's kind of like the movie. What was that? There was this magic movie that The Prestige. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us don't see the guy that falls underneath the ground and he's, and everyone's applauding, but all the hard work that he puts into an act, they only see the other person up there, not the person below.
Exactly. Great movie, by the way. Love it. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, we'll kind of wrap up here. So I pretty much asked you all the questions. So let's just kind of close it with the heart wall. So for me, I've been working with energy healers since the beginning of January, and you were the first one to work on me, Emmanuel. And after about 4 or 5 or 6 sessions, we're able to remove my heart wall. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because in the Bible, it talks about the story of Moses and how Pharaoh had a closed heart. He had a hardened heart. And even as a little boy, when I listened to that, I'm like, that guy, if he just was nice, the 2 million or more Jews didn't have, I was just a little boy thinking was like, why couldn't Pharaoh just be nice and open up his heart? And because he died, because Pharaoh and all of his people died, after the Red Sea was opened up and the water came in and they all died. So his hardened heart killed him. So, and now you look at 2020, your hardened heart, and people that are watching, like not yours personally, but people that are watching, your hardened heart could kill you literally, like with a heart attack, coronary heart disease, cancer. So talk about how we can understand a little bit more what a heart wall does negatively and how we can maybe start removing that.
I was just reading a book, How to Raise a Boy by Cleon Skousen, and it's really interesting that the first organs that are created in a baby are the heart and the brain, which is really interesting because that's what Inside Out Institute all is about. We have a heart and a brain there. And what's kind of key is that if we all knew we had a mission in life and it was already in the heart, that perhaps if you just kind of opened up your mind and said, did I have a life before this where I said, you know what, I'm going to be doing this? I mean, how can I explain? I mean, no one can explain why Mozart was so amazing at age 5 or age 8. I mean, there's no real explanation to that. He must have been studying music before, and he made the decision that he's going to add an art form to this world that's going to break every single record in regards to music. And my mother, for example, she was already saying, I'm going to cure your yaya, but she did it like in Spanish, and she was 9 years old, and they already knew she's going to be a doctor at age 9. There's just certain things that's like it's already in your heart, and due to the trauma that you have throughout your life, it's almost like that whole saying in high school, follow your heart. You can't follow your heart if you have all these trapped emotions in front of your heart. And so as you go through life, you're going to get punched, and you're going to put trauma, these trapped emotions, over your heart. And again, I love the bomb shelter perspective, but it's like, imagine if your passion was basketball, but then someone says, okay, I'm going to put you in the court, but I'm going to put you in a bomb shelter within the court. Are you going to enjoy basketball? And the answer is you're not going to enjoy it. And so if you release these walls, all of a sudden the court becomes real to you and everything tangible. And I just feel like that's the thing. If we really want to piss off the other side, the realm that doesn't want us to succeed, the entities that don't want us to succeed, is everyone is following their mission because we told our creators that we were going to do that when we came here. And if you're not on that path, that's why you haven't reached your full happiness yet. So passion is again, I don't know how excited Moses was 30 years in the desert. I really don't know. If we were to interview Moses right now, I don't know if he'd had the best days messing with the Israelites who were very stubborn. I don't know. Right. But the point is deep, deep, deep down in his heart, he's like, I'm doing the Creator's will, and I know that because I'm following my mission. So it's not about position of being a Pharaoh, it's about your mission. And because he followed it, now he's in a very, very good place. And at the end, we can't bring a, what is it called, a Hertz behind a U-Haul, as they would say. We're not going to bring anything that we made here on Earth. That's right. What we're going to bring with us is our satisfaction of whether we were on our mission or not.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man. Well, this has been awesome. And I know we're wrapping up here because our 30 minutes is up here. But what would be like, someone's watching this because, there's a lot of people suffering right now. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of people that are like, who do I call? Maybe they're tired of talking to their mom. Maybe their parents have passed away, unfortunately. And in that connection is gone. And, they're talking to a coworker and they're trying to heal. but they keep getting it's just like they're almost at that point where they're like, I give up. Like, I'm not saying they want to kill themselves, but I'm just saying, like, I give up. I guess I'm always going to be a loser. I guess I'll never have a passion. And and I've been there. That's a very devastating place to be. What would be the best thing that they can possibly do to get a hold of us? With the Inside Out Institute, maybe they talk to somebody, they can have that free call, that heartfelt, like, hey, talk to me about your problems. What is the solution? What's the outcomes that you really want? How can they set that up? What can we do for them?
Well, what we could do is, if you want, you can comment down below. You can just write advisory board member, or if you're really lazy, you can just write ABA, advisory board member.
Yeah, ABM.
ABM. Okay, see, so so basically, you want to write that down in the comments section, and then maybe someone can reach out to you. We can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the main thing is it's a really good question to ask. For example, the reason why I love Elon Musk is because he was willing to put everything on the line for something greater. He was just recently on a show for Joe Rogan, and he was just saying that I'm getting rid of all my houses. I'm getting rid of all my wants because I'd rather invest it into going to a new planet.
Mm-hmm.
See, whenever very successful people are getting rid of like they're like, I don't want this certain lifestyle because
Mm-hmm.
I have a dream.
Mm-hmm.
It really reminds us of what you and I are doing. It's like, you stopped your amazing lucrative business. I'm retiring in December from Compass Healing. What are these two 39-year-olds doing that they left something that they were phenomenally good at to come together to help more people out? I think it's a good question to be like, what are they doing in those hills? So we would love to help anybody out. If anyone has questions about what we're doing, to definitely comment below, and we'd love to see how we can help you out in your life.
Very good. Maybe we'll have our advisory board member. I see one right there. I'm on the advisory board. I can help. They'll reach out to you because I don't know if we have one link for all, but they have their own individual links. So they'll go ahead and reach out to you, and it'll be phenomenal. But definitely let us know though and you can also inbox me or Emmanuel personally, just to guarantee that you'll get that done, because we're not always looking at comments all day too. Because as we're running the company, me and him both are very, very busy. But we're very grateful for you guys, and grateful for you, Emmanuel, taking some time out. Looking forward to next week and a new topic that we're going to dissect. But thanks so much for watching, everyone, and hopefully this added value to your life. God bless you all.
Take care.